Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for another build. Now this is going to be an indoor build inside the purple cottage that's currently in the premium shop. Now I've had this house for a long time, I know a lot of people have, but some people who are newer to the game probably have just picked this up for the first time. So I kind of wanted to give you some inspiration of how you could decorate this to kind of fit the vibe of the building itself. I do have it up here in the Forest of Valor, so if you want to see how I kind of decorated a little cottage town, there is a video on my channel, I will leave it in the description. But this will be the interior of this house, showing you how I created kind of this really cute cottagecore cozy home inside here. So to start off with, in the main room, throughout the whole building I do keep the same theme of flooring and wallpaper. I just feel like it feels more natural for a kind of cozy home. I didn't want anything too extravagant. I did go with the dark wood flooring and I kind of played around with different wallpapers to try and figure out what worked. I was kind of debating some brick or maybe just a more kind of worn down wallpaper, but in the end I do decide to go for the grand dining wallpaper, which is just this really nice brown and cream wallpaper. I just feel like it works really well in kind of a cottage home and just looks very, very natural. And then after that I went in this main room and it started placing down all the items I was going to use. I knew I wanted to create kind of just this little small living room area in here, so I did start placing out items that I think would have worked in. Now throughout the whole building I tried to kind of keep the same windows. At one point I do change one of the rooms to different windows, but I actually do change them back because I feel like having these matching windows just really fits the theme of it being kind of this really cute cottage. And these tavern windows from the Tangled collection work really, really well. I also changed the doors to the elegant double doors. I know they are quite royal and posh in here, but the dark green just fits really well with the vibe I was going for, so I kind of just like having them just kind of looking like these old school doors. And I added some pillars to the corner of the rooms. Now these are a premium shop item from a Tangled collection we got, and so if you don't have those, they are not essential, do not worry, but I just wanted to include them in the corners of the rooms just because I felt like they really fit the kind of look and made it seem as though the house kind of had beams across the ceiling and things like that, like a really old school cottage. And once that room was complete, I then went into the left hand side room, which I knew was going to be my kind of like kitchen and dining area. So I started by placing out the furniture. Now I did use these premium shop frozen counters. If you don't have these, I'm so sorry, but there are alternatives using other furniture in the game. I just really love these to kind of fit the cottage look. They're just very old school and just fit the vibe perfectly. But if you don't have them, there are alternatives, so do not fret. But if these do come back in the premium shop, I do highly recommend them. I use them so often that they are definitely probably one of the best purchases I can justify in the premium shop because they are so cute. But I did go in and create this kind of rounded kitchen area. I wanted it to kind of have counters and things like that and just feel very open, so I kind of made them in this rounded kind of rectangle area and then figured out wallpaper. I did think about going for a different wallpaper, but I actually did keep to the same as the main room. I kind of debated on it and then was like, no, that one works too well to not use again. So I then put that in and then started decorating some of the walls, putting in some of the furniture I knew I was going to use before I rearrange everything. I did change the kitchen slightly to make it a bit smaller, just to kind of rearrange it a little bit, and I actually prefer how it turned out. And I added in a sink. Now this again is from a premium shop bundle, I'm so sorry, but it is from the Tangled one, and it gives us a sink and just some other furniture, and it just worked too well in here not to use. I like to include a sink in the kitchens, and because we didn't get one with the Frozen bundle, I kind of had to find an alternative, and unless it's a modern one, this one just works the best. So if you are going for like a modern look anyway, this you'll be able to use a modern sink because there are so many of them, but I did include that one for that reason. But I then went in and kind of rearranged everything as how I wanted to use it. I was going to do a big grand dining table in here, but I actually realized there wasn't much room, and it kind of also didn't really make sense for the cottage to have a big grand dining table. So I do go in later and kind of add a smaller one with only 4 chairs. But I do want the walls of the cottage to still have a lot of stuff on it. I wanted it to feel very eclectic, like the person who lives here kind of collects a lot of stuff and has their walls like really decorated and really cozy. I feel like it just makes the room seem smaller when the walls are filled, so that was kind of the vibe I was going for. I kept the same lighting going throughout the build, but I wanted the room in here to feel kind of very cozy, very warm. And I did place in a smaller table and some of the silverware that has finally been resized. I don't know if anyone's noticed or just me. They finally resized this silverware. This was huge and wouldn't go on tables before, and they finally fixed it, so I will be using it all the time. But I did place that on the table just as kind of like a simple design, and then kind of filled up the library table, added the final few things before I finished up. After adding a few stools to the bar, I then went and did my back room. Now this is the one on the right side. It's like directly opposite the kitchen. So it is not the one directly at the back, it is the one on the right. But this is going to be the bedroom. So in here I wanted to go for, again, a very cozy look. I didn't want it to be too fancy, but I did want to include a lot of the dark wood furniture, make it seem very natural in here. So I did kind of pick and choose what I wanted to use. It did take me some time in here to figure out the vibe I wanted to go for, because a lot of the items I was going to use in here I actually couldn't really, because I knew I was using them in the far back room. So I kind of had to figure out what furniture worked best in here and how to kind of rearrange everything to fit the vibe I was going for. Now again in here, I wanted the walls to feel very kind of cluttered and give you the vibe that everything was very enclosed and very kind of natural. But I also wanted to kind of keep the theme of having a lot of furniture in here. I wanted to have a vanity and have these kind of different items to make everything feel very cozy in here and kind of just work really, really well. I do go in and add the same wallpaper and flooring. I completely forgot to say and completely forgot to do it clearly, but I did add those same ones in, and I added in a touch of magic rug. I do go in later and actually change this, same as the windows. I do originally use these windows from Cinderella with the blue curtains. I do go in later and change these, so they will change before the final build, because I just decided that they were just too modern. Not modern, but too bright, and just didn't fit the cottage vibe I was going for. So I do change those up later on, as well as the bed I do change up. So this room was a bit of a trial and error room. I had to figure out what worked in here and what didn't, and it did take me some time to kind of get the look in here I wanted to go for. So it is a bit of a mismatch room, so be warned that when it gets to the final look, you're going to be like, this room looks completely different, but it just took a bit of trial and error is all. Now we're on to the final room, which is the back room. Now this room, I knew I wanted to keep the same theme of the same floor, same wallpaper, so the whole building matches. It kind of just worked well for this cottage look I was going for. And I then went in and sort of figured out what items I wanted to use in here. Now my theme in here was very much a kind of rustic library office area, so I wanted it to kind of have a kind of nice little office seating area for whoever lives here to work at, but also a kind of very overgrown library. So that was kind of the vibe I was going for in here. So I did start by obviously placing out all the items that I thought I was going to use before I go in and rearrange everything. Now something I did use in here, which I didn't expect to use, was the Monsters Inc. Nook that we just recently got. Now this, I didn't know if it would be too modern. I kind of had to place it and figure out if it worked in the room, so I did leave it there for a while before kind of figuring out if it worked. But it actually really did work because the dark wood matched everything else, and the items that are in the Nook kind of just fit this kind of library study area. It just seemed to work really well, but it was a bit of a trial and error figuring out if it was too modern. But I think it actually did work quite well in here and kind of fit all the other windows in the room, and it just really opened this room up and made it seem a bit more dimensional. Now, as you can see, I did go in and decide to do kind of a double wall bookshelf area. I was originally going to just do it the back wall, but I figured out it would actually make the room have a bit more character to kind of have it going across these two paneling walls and then figure out the furniture around this. So I knew that it would have a lot of books, feel very, very kind of cozy in here and not too open, and the kind of Monsters Inc. window gave me the opportunity to do that because it made the room feel a little bit less cramped and gave it some more dimension. So I did go in and add in a rug and add in some other furniture items to kind of finish it up and kind of gave it this very cozy, warm feel. Now this is the final build. So first we are in the main room. So this is like the living space, the living area. So I did go in and kind of add in a bunch of cozy furniture. I feel like the Ratatouille couches work really well in here. The kind of like greeny colour just works perfectly. But I wanted to create like a cozy little seating area with the fireplace and the kind of paintings and everything around. I then made kind of just a little library end table next to the piano just to be kind of like an entranceway table. Now in the kitchen, as you can see, I added just some drinks and things to the tables. I added an apple pie and just some little fruit cakes and things like that to add a bit more character, but I love how this room turned out. It's very simplistic but just works really well. I again added another end table in here to put some apples on and some flowers and lots of paintings and things in the walls in here. I did add the kind of little wall planter. I do hope we get more of these in the future, some more rustic ones, because this one is quite bright, but I do feel like it works in here. The little table with just some silverware on and the little plate cabinet next to the kitchen area, which is just very cluttered, very busy and very lived in and very homely. That was kind of the look I wanted to go for in this whole build, is make it seem as though someone actually lived here. Now in the back room you can see we have our study slash library. I love this room. I think these bookshelves always work well to kind of close in a room and make it seem very cozy and warm. I think they work perfectly for that. But I've got the desk and the little seating area in the corner with the leather chairs works well. The little fireplace, as well as the Monsters Inc. Nook, which just adds a whole new dimension to this room. It actually worked better than I thought it would. And then obviously our desk in the middle for whoever lives here to sit at and do their work. As we head out of there, we head to the final room, which is obviously the bedroom. Now, as you can see, I did say before, but in here I did change the windows, the bed, the rug. I changed a lot in here, and it actually looks 10 times better in here now. So I do have just kind of this little dressing area with some units and a little washing basket and a little vanity table, as well as lots of decor on the walls. I also included a really cute fireplace in here, just something simple, and the reading nook just to kind of tie it all together, and just an easel and lots of paintings, and the window above the pallet bed just brings an extra dimension of character. So this is the final build. I hope you guys like it. I've been meaning to decorate my purple cottage for a very long time, and I've just never got around to it, and I'm kind of on a mission now to decorate all the interiors of the different premium shop houses we have, because we have so many. So I will be kind of working my way through them, getting to the ones I haven't got to yet. So if there's any in particular you want to see, please do let me know down below, and I'll be happy to kind of do my interpretation of how they look. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if there's anything that you think I should chop and change with the build, do let me know down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you so much for all the support on the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.